Okay, let's dive right into this, because we are about to solve one of the most universal, and let's be honest, universally dreaded social problems out there, the awkward silence.
Oh, you know that moment. Come on. You're at a party, maybe a networking thing, or you're just standing in line for coffee. You're next to someone and your mind just goes completely blank. And what do? You default to that old classic, "So, how was your day?" And they say good, and then cricket. Nothing.
And you're both just kind of stuck there, right? Just wishing the floor would open up and swallow you whole. If this feels painfully familiar, it's because, well, it happens to pretty much everyone. But what if I told you the problem, it isn't actually you?
Yeah, that's right. This isn't some kind of personality flaw. It's a tactical error, a strategic mistake. And today, we're going to give you a whole new playbook. All right, so what is this wrong game that we've all been playing? Well, it really starts with a fundamental misunderstanding of what small talk is even supposed to be.
You see, we think small talk is all about being witty or clever or super interesting. That's the myth. We put all this insane pressure on ourselves to be charming, right? To have the perfect zinger, to be entertaining. But here's the thing, that's not the goal at all. In fact, that pressure, that's exactly what causes the whole system to just crash and burn.
Okay, so this slide really breaks it down. The core problem is the difference between these two approaches. You've got the old way, using these generic questions like, "So, what do?" That puts all the work on the other person. Now they have to perform for you, you know? They have to come up with something interesting and carry the entire conversation. It's exhausting. But the new way, just making a simple observation, it completely removes that pressure. It invites curiosity instead of demanding a performance.
Think about it like this. When you ask one of those generic questions, you're not really connecting with a human being. You're treating them like some kind of social vending machine. You're just hoping that if you put in the correct question, a great conversation will magically pop out. And how often does that actually work? Yeah, almost never.
So, if questions are the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's a simple but honestly a really profound shift in your entire approach. It is all about the power of just noticing.
Okay, so what exactly do I mean by an observation in this context? It's not a question, it's not a demand, it's an offering. You're simply sharing something you see, offering this little moment you can both look at together. And the key part, there is zero pressure for them to respond.
Let's look at how this works in the real world. So instead of putting someone on the spot by asking, "What are you reading?" you could say something like, "That book looks like it's been through some things." You feel the difference? One is basically an interview question. The other is an invitation to share a story. Or, instead of that dreaded, "How's work?" try something like, "You look like someone who just survived a really long meeting." It's empathetic, it's a little playful, and it is so much easier to respond to. Now hold on. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They think, okay, great, any observation will do. But just saying, "Nice weather we're having," or "Cool shirt," is basically just verbal filler. Yeah, it's technically an observation, but it goes absolutely nowhere. It's a total conversational dead end.
So to avoid those dead ends, you need to turn your observation into something magnetic, something that just naturally pulls a response out of someone. And hey, luckily for us, there's a simple 3-part formula for that.
Here they are. These are the 3 ingredients for a truly fantastic conversation starter. When you combine specificity, a little bit of playful exaggeration, and you hint at a story, you create something that people feel genuinely, almost magnetically compelled to respond to.
First up, specificity. So instead of a generic, "nice shoes," you notice a real detail. For example, "Those shoes look like they could survive a zombie apocalypse." See? This shows you're actually paying attention. You're not just running a social script in your head, you're present, right there in the moment with them.
Next, you want to add a slight exaggeration. Now, this isn't about being fake or over the top, it's just about adding a little energy and humor. "You look tired" is just a flat, factual report. Kind of boring, right? But "you look like your coffee betrayed you this morning," now that's playful, it's empathetic, and it just opens the door for them to laugh and agree with you.
And finally, the implied story. By hinting that there's more going on beneath the surface, like the scuffs on a briefcase or the stickers on a laptop suggesting big adventures, you're painting a little picture. And people have this natural impulse to either confirm that picture or correct it. Either way, boom, a conversation has officially started. Okay, so we've got the diagnosis, we've got the toolkit. Now let's put it all together with the one simple phrase that makes this entire method feel like second nature. This is it. 3 simple words that can revive almost any dying conversation. The phrase is, "I bet that." That's it. That's the key that unlocks this whole approach.
So why on earth does this work so well? Well, the real magic isn't even in the phrase itself. It's what it does to your brain. The moment you start a sentence with "I bet that," you automatically force yourself to look for a specific detail. It trains you to notice things. It's an observation, it's a guess, and it's a totally open-ended invitation, all wrapped up in one.
And really, that's the ultimate shift, isn't it? This whole process takes all that pressure off of you to be interesting, and instead it just channels your energy into being interested in the person who's right there in front of you. Which brings us to the real purpose of all this. Because, learning this technique isn't just about avoiding awkward silences at your next office party. The goal isn't really to master small talk. The real goal is to make people feel seen. I mean, in a world where everyone is so distracted, just taking a moment to genuinely notice something about another person, that's a rare and incredibly powerful gift. You're not just making conversation, you're making a real connection. So, the next time you feel that silence creeping in, don't try to think of a better question. Instead, try to pay better attention. The rest, well, it'll take care of itself. So what will you notice first?